Hello again, everybody, and welcome to a Friday afternoon of world-class thoroughbred action live here in Hallandale Beach, Florida at Gulfstream Park. We're here with Gulfstream today. We have ace handicapper extraordinaire Ron Nicoletti, track announcer Pete Aiello welcoming you. We're 56 minutes out from our opening contest here today. Again, we had some rain overnight. Muddy main track. The turf course remains good. Sun is shining now. It's almost a carbon copy of yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, and yesterday afternoon around the fourth race, that main track, which we told you to watch, was upgraded to good. It didn't lick. It affected too many horses with no great bias or anything that I spotted yesterday, especially the turf course. As we mentioned, can use some rain. So that was a pretty even surface on both on the turf and on the main track yesterday. I'm expecting more of the same today. But we're in that pattern right now where they threaten us with hurricanes. They don't come, but we do get a little rain each day.
Yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed that that pattern continues throughout the next couple of days. We have 10 races to get to here this afternoon. The Rainbow Six is officially over $100,000. We'll get to that momentarily, but we also have a super high five carryover in today's first race of $1,388. $1 play in the super high five.
Yeah, and it's a great bet when you're dealing with 7 horses like we have in the opening event here. So a lot of people, get a chance to win, especially if you can find a key in there. You can put a nice ticket together there. And Pete, as you mentioned in that Rainbow Six, we're up to over $100,000. We're on the move here. We had one single yesterday, a long shot alive, the 11 horse, and that didn't come to fruition. So we got that really. Oh, we also got the early pick 5 today. I finally forgot my early five ticket.
Well, maybe it's a bad omen for your early pick 5 ticket. The Rainbow Six starts in the 5th race with a $107,000 carryover. It's a 20-cent play. And then you have the late pick 5 to look forward to. It's a 50-cent play. Late pick 5 begins on race number 6.
Yeah, I was so excited that Rainbow Six is over 100,000 that I jumped the gun today, Pete.
Well, that's all right. We all make mistakes, and we hope we don't make any on the handicapping front here today. We have 10 races on the card. First race starts it off 54 minutes from post time at 12:50. Race number 1 over the good turf course at 7.5 furlongs. Scratch the main track only, the 8 Letical. Luca Panici rides number 2 Real Steel. Jockey Cornelio Velasquez will not ride here this afternoon. He's on his way to New York to take part in Traverse Day tomorrow.
Yeah, I think he's riding in the King's Bishop, and you can do some check on that. So one of our locals going up there. Good luck to him on his quest to win one of those big stakes races on Traverse Day up there. But we got some fun action right here. Let's show you my early pick 5 ticket that I forgot about momentarily. Too deep here, and I do not have the 5 Storming Inti on my ticket, who I see is currently up there as the 2-to-1 favorite. 4, 7, 3, 6, 3 deep, and 2 deep for a $36 ticket. And I went with the 4 horse in here, Valordo, on top of my ticket, Pete. And this one up there at 7-2, cutting back slightly. The 7.5 furlongs, stalked the pace, but he was sitting behind a free-running former stakes winner called Joe's Blazing Aaron. This horse was just on the engine last time out, and was in a good spot. Looked like he was classed up nicely there. This one finishing second, tipped it to me to put this one on top of my ticket.
Well, the number 5 Storming Inti is taking early money, no doubt, because he is the key controlling speed in this race. A lot of the horses with good form, including Valordo and Brevard, are going to be at the mercy of the pace. Storming Inti has never been this low at this distance. He ran for 16 last time, but that was sprinting at 5/8. Now he gets to work with 2 turns again today. Can he carry his speed? That's the gamble, but he'll be in front.
Yeah, getting apprentice Lane Luzzy in there, one of the horses I was trying to beat, because I thought he just might stop and set it up for one of the horses that might be stalking. Now, the next horse I want to talk about is that other horse I used on my early pick 5 ticket, Brevard, stepping up the competition after sitting chilly early in its last race and drawing clear late to defeat 16-2 lifetime claimers at a mile last time out. I want to show you a jockey trainer combination that's been doing very well at the meet, and that's trainer Alan Hunter and Matthew Rispoli. A limited sampling, 8 for 25. They're 32% in the win column with a $3.74 ROI. We've been pointing these horses out. A lot of these horses shipped down from Pimlico, and this barn and that angle has certainly been on a roll, as that win percentage would tell you.
Yeah, and Brevard continues to progress nicely, too. He won well last time out from well off the speed. If something happens in front of him where he can get some pace to chase, he'll be along late.
What about Muser in here? I think Muser is the morning line favorite in here. I did not use it on my ticket. A 4-time turf winner moved to the Ramon Morales barn after the $10,000 claim Gulfstream wears blinkers, looking first victory in 11 starts this year. That's why I backed him off.
Yeah, I can understand you're being tepid with Muser. On the other hand, he is just so darn consistent. He runs the same figure each and every time he runs. He's running 76s and 77s. That stacks up pretty favorably against this group today. Ramon Morales off the claim, a good move. I think Muser will move up, but he hasn't won in a while. There's certainly a chink in the armor as far as that goes. Well, let's turn our attention now to the second race. The second race at 5.5 furlongs. Maidens on the bottom at $10,000 claimers. Scratch number 2, Boxer. That's a key scratch, as he did figure to play a role in this race. Key the Storm likely to go heavily favored. He's blown some big leads in the past. Is this the field that he can seal the deal again?
I think so. He's turning back to 5.5 furlongs after setting those really solid early fractions. Fading late, he finished fourth against Similar. That was going 3/4. Mohamed Jaladi has Eduardo Nunez atop this son of Keyed Entry. And I think this is a good spot for this horse.
Well, Key the Storm will have to do something he's never done before, which is finish up in the final furlong. He'll be heavily favored to do it. Vineyard Storm accorded a chance on the morning line. His 2 races are ugly, but his first race was as a 2-year-old. I can excuse that. He had to need that last race. It was also his first race on turf. It's now or never time for this son of Vineyard Haven.
Yeah, and I used Joey Sixpack. It cut him back to this distance we're talking about. Dueled early with Key the Storm, weakened 5th behind him. Trainer Jose Garofalo. John Cruz, who likes to go to the lead. Private Safe, wheeling back, same level of distance. He counted minor trouble, and he finished behind Key the Storm, but that was a race back on July 30th. So it looks like the common thread through this whole race is Key the Storm, but as you mentioned, Key the Storm has got to do something it's never done, and that's hold on.
Well, the other thing about it is Joey Sixpack is coming out of the same race as Key the Storm. They both hooked up last time out. I think they hook up again today. Joey Sixpack has a license to continue to progress. I actually would try to beat Key the Storm if I haven't made that clear already.
Yeah, sort of. And I think being in a 5-horse field, go all in when you start your first of 2 pick 4s on the afternoon.
Well, ordinarily I'd say no to that idea, but the third race of the afternoon, which we're going to now, is maiden claimers of the $16,000 variety. To me, this is a 2-horse contest. If you can pick one of the 2, and you're right, now all of a sudden you have a single. Even if you don't, you have 2 options. Homeboy Caden on the inside, Eric Drosselmeyer on the outside. They're the only 2 here.
Yeah, Homeboy Caden is stretching out to 6 furlongs. Breaking from this rail today. Duel for lead. He finished second. He was the odds-on choice that afternoon against Similar, going 5.5. I think, Pete, this horse finds an easier time on or near the front end than he did last time out. And I think he's, in my estimation, the one unbeaten there. But you sort of got to have the number 6 head, Drosselmeyer, on the ticket. Dropping to this level, fading to finish 4th, 5 furlongs, 35 maiden sprint last time out. Dane Kambinski, short turnaround. That's the only concern I had.
Well, I actually would look at that in a positive light, just my opinion. Eric Drosselmeyer wheels right back. But I agree with you that number 1, Homeboy Caden, should have an easier time of it from the rail today. He got hooked every jump last time out. The eventual 3rd place finisher in that race, it's been on my mind, came back to beat a very big field. I don't know how great it was, but he beat a lot of horses in that race. So Homeboy Caden and Eric Drosselmeyer are strictly the ones to beat.
Yeah, and if you're looking for someone else to throw in a ticket, what about the 3 Crown Lake, Gilded Son of Crown of Thorns, debuting from Milt Wolfson, 4 local works, showing a useful 5 furlong gate work, and you got leading jock Tyler Gaffleone jumping aboard there.
Well, that's race number 3 on the card. Let's go now to the 4th race on the program. These are 2-year-old fillies racing long over the turf at 7.5 furlongs. Scratch number 8, Funkirk, a field of 7. Ronnie, it sounds to me like off camera you like the 7, Lexi's Doll.
Yeah, this one is stretching out around 2 turns today. That's 7.5 furlongs after rallying it to finish 3rd in a 5 furlong career debut. I want to go back and show you the stretch run of this horse. It's a daughter of Hanson by Tappet out of a theatrical mare, Society Bell. So, Brett, look at this horse now. This is 5 furlongs. No one in this race here has gone this distance before. So this horse closing, and you see there sitting back, and you say, okay, the horse is just, closing up, and all of a sudden finds this extra energy. Now, I don't know. It doesn't seem like the horses in front are slowing down that much. And the 4 horse, you'll see coming into the pitch, it just keeps coming and coming and coming. Of course, the 9 backed off, but the 6 did not. And I just thought closing, stretching out. There's nothing else to really go on handicapping-wise in this race unless you can hit me to to an angle in here.
Well, no, I can't. I agree with that last assertion. I think that Lexi's Doll is a horse that you have to use, but I would be very wary of singling a horse who's going 2 turns for the first time off of just that 5-furlong race. It was against theoretically lesser, but I'm not going to make that argument in here because when you look at the other horses in here, outside of Devilish Romance, you don't know about everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go deep in here if you can't. Devilish Romance, the daughter of First Dude, debuting on the turf at the 50 level. You know, responded last time to the Lasix with an improved third-place finish. 7 furlongs on the turf. Stanley Gold, Eddie Castro handling the surface switch. If I remember correctly, that's not one of Stanley's great moves. I think he's 0 for 18 with horses going from the dirt to the turf. Not something that barn does very well. He's excellent with these, freshman runners. But there's so many unknowns in this race that a horse like that would not surprise me if it jumps up and wins.
Well, maybe you know this. I should know this. We both should have known this going in, but I believe the horse that beat Devilish Romance last time out, Tonina, isn't that the horse that went to Saratoga from Sanos and won the Grade 2 race from Off the Speed?
That's right. See that?
I think so. I think that's who it was.
You're right. What a good point. You know, it got by me on that one. Another horse I'm using is 1 of 2 in the race from trainer Larry Bates. Lancaster, the daughter of English Channel, out of an AP Indy mare called Cobbler's Reef, bred to love the turf in the distance. Larry Bates, he also trains Bayon's Way in this field, and he's got Apprentice Alvaro Doniz on this half of the uncoupled entry. You know, there's 2 horses in there. That's strictly on breeding. English Channel out of an AP Indy mare certainly screams that this horse can handle this distance on the turf.
It does indeed. That's race number 4 on the program. We're going to take a brief timeout. More on Gulfstream today, including Ronnie's Rainbow 6, right after this.
Next January, 12 horses, $1 million buy-in for a $12 million purse. It is the world's richest race. It is the Pegasus World Cup.
And we're back now with a preview of race number 5 on the program. Once again, welcome to Gulfstream Park. Track announcer Pete Aiello, joined by ace handicapper extraordinaire Ron Nicoletti. I love calling you that, by the way.
No.
10 races on the card today, so we're up to race number 5, which does start the all-important Rainbow 6 on the program. The carryover now over 6 figures. We're at $107,000.
Yeah, and I went a little deeper this afternoon than my normal $43.80. $57.60 this afternoon. I could not find a single in here. I had my single win yesterday. Had 5 out of 6, and it didn't have the logical horse that I just blew one of the horses in that race. 2 deep in this first leg. 3, 2, 3, 2, and then 4 in race number 10, and $57.60. When it gets over 100,000, they're probably going to bet $50,000-$60,000 into it. I figure why not go a little deeper with my ticket, and it's good for you to check your ticket out against mine, see if we're in agreement. Pete and I did start it off in here with the number 5, Tormenta de Oro, trying to make it 2 in a row after parlaying a stalking trip into a perfectly timed neck victory at the distance. Victor Barboza Jr., Apprentice Carlos Hernandez named to ride. Want to show you a stat on number 5, Tormenta de Oro from Victor Barboza Jr. over 5 years. Winner last time out on the dirt. 4 for 29. He's only 14%. I was a little surprised to see this in the money 62% of the time. Only a 59-cent ROI because they bet him. This guy's been doing an incredible job, Victor Barboza Jr.
I get credit.
Yeah,
I was one of the first ones. I was one of the first ones to mention it. Now, Coco's Cat from the rail, their speed is no secret here. This horse, if she breaks, which she's been hit or miss in that category. Last time out, she broke very well. She had the lead, and then that was that. If she minds her manners, she certainly should be on the lead from the rail. Tormenta de Oro showed a new dimension last time out in that she doesn't need the lead. But if these two do get acquainted, that's why I like your third play in this race. Number 3, Jill's Comprise, off the claim.
Yeah, what about that off the claim? Move to the Peter Walderbahn Vita claim after winning 3 of 38 races lifetime. But 2 of those victories came this year. New connections, 10 have Apprentice Lane Leslie to ride. I never thought I'd see this barn moving out of the Barry Rose barn into another barn, but that is the case today. Jill's comprised, and we'll see how this horse runs for the new connections.
Well, scratch number 2, Distinctly Sweet, so a field of 6 to kick off the Rainbow Six today. Race number 6 starts the late pick 5. We move to the turf course at 1 mile. $10,000 claimers set to go postward. Scratch the main track onlys in this race, the 8, 9, and 10. It's a field of 7. This is one of those divisions in South Florida that always confuses me. I can tell you this, I like your top play here, Fish and Chips.
Yeah, Fish and Chips is dropping to this $10,000 level after getting fried on the front end and setting a pressured pace and weakening to finish 4th in her local return at the $16,000 level. You know how to get there. Fish and Chips. I just think this is the logical horse, and I could see the morning line favorite being the one, Lady Nura, but I'm going to go with Fish and Chips on top of my ticket. I like the drop, and I don't know if this horse exactly has to be on the lead.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I know that you can't help yourself. That is definitely what I know.
Well, that's a pretty good line. It's dumb, but good. Let's go to Lady Nora. Let's get away from Fish and Chips. This one's stretching out to 1 mile and breaking from the rail again. Led every step of the way to defeat 10-2 lifetime claimers going 7.5. Speed from the rail, Pete, is always an alluring possibility. Is that how you see this race?
No, I don't like Lady Nura, to be honest. That's why I like Fish and Chips. I think I'm against the repeat on Lady Nura. She made a believer out of me last time out. She seemed to have waited on horses when sprinting on the main track. She didn't have that problem last time out. She definitely should be offensive-minded. I think Fish and Chips will be right with her. The question is, if anybody is to rally from off the speed, who is it? You think it's the 4 Love Years. I think it's the 3. She's the winner.
Yeah, I mean, Love Years does the best running in the latter stages of the race, can end up sitting in that catbird seat, especially, as you mentioned, if the top 2 decide, Fish and Chips and Lady Nura decide to hook up in a duel. And, I can see the 3-horse, too, closing to do it. And this race might just set up for a closer like that. These are great betting races because you have to figure out if it's going to be speed, closer, or stalker on any given day. They're wide open, lots of fun.
Good thing about race number 6 is that the 2 is an absolute pitch, and Charanga's probably not going to win. So it leaves you with just 5 to choose from. And if you are trying to beat the favorite, you can go 4 deep and get out of that race. You hope. We hope. Let's look now to race number 7. The 7th race starts the late pick 4. Scratch number 4, Brave Enrique. Scratch number 7, Little Awesome. Matt Rispoli rides number 6, Son of a Derby winner. I think that's probably because Leonel Reyes himself is also going to Saratoga. He has 2 calls tomorrow on Gulfstream-based horses. Anaximandros in the Travers, as well as who's the horse? Applicator in the Sword Dancer.
So a lot of our jocks heading up for the weekend at Saratoga. And if you're not aware, you come here and bet our live racings. Well, we got simulcasting of all those races right here at beautiful Gulfstream Park and on our simulcast network. There's 6 furlongs claimers, as you said. I went to the 2 in here. Acatero, who's also entered. I found this interesting. If you look at the form there, this one was entered to run in an allowance race at Evangeline Downs tomorrow. I guess Efren Loza Jr. decided to run it here. I just found that it's a son of Quality Road, firing bullets at Gulfstream Park West, going back to the main track after finishing 2nd against Similar. That was going 5 furlongs on the turf. What do you make of that? Just they entered a horse in Evangeline Downs.
Odd. I know Loza's run a couple horses there. He also shipped a couple to Mountaineers, so he's all over the place. But Icatiro with an inside gate should have enough speed to clear this field if he wants to. That last race is a little bit of an anomaly, 5/8 on turf. He's not that fast, but he's fast enough to make the lead, going 6 furlongs over the main.
Yeah, and I know you wanted to go back and show you a performance of a couple of the horses in here.
Well, I guess you're happy I did because you like both of them. The 1 Unintimidated and the 5 Carapano. They come out of the same race. That's Carapano in the blue blinkers with the white cap. Unintimidated is not on the screen right now. That's part of the reason I wanted to show it. The eventual winner of this race is Capital City, who takes over on the outside. There's Unintimidated last, and at least at that point looking like he's going nowhere, but he was far, far back. He's actually already in full stride. Carapano makes a good run at Capital City, but just can't overhaul him. And then late in the race, Carapano's going to fade late, and Unintimidated is going to roll home. I'm sorry, this race is actually 2 back. That's Dangerous Men on the engine.
Right.
Carapano with a good 2nd, Unintimidated rolling home. Carapano has raced since then. That was the reason for the confusion. He lost to Capital City.
Yeah, I mean, that race was on July 28th and everything like that. And Unintimidated turned it back. You saw that performance on July 28th. That was going 6.5 furlongs. Full of disclosure here, I had Little Awesome on my ticket, and I added the number 5 Carapano. I wasn't really that enamored with off that last performance. Not the one on July 28th, his last performance. So I added him to the ticket with the scratch of Little Awesome.
Can I defend that? I have a great defense for that.
Right.
This is one of the things that I love about handicapping races, especially on a circuit where you're following it regularly.
Right.
Carapano earned a 66 figure for that race we showed you. It was a second place run behind Dangerous Ben. He then ran fifth, only beaten 3 lengths, but he ran a better race on figures. He ran a 69. Why is that relevant? It just goes to show you how much tougher his last race was than this race today.
If you are in agreement with the buyer figures in there, you know, I go by what I see on paper. Buyer figures, I add them
Buyer
in.
figures are on paper.
Yeah, but I mean, I add them in after I do it. It's not the big cause for me in making the decision in the race.
Well, let's talk about somebody else. Go ahead.
No, that was it. I had them both on the ticket. I was just full disclosure. I added Carapano afterwards. Now, you know this horse cannot lose now after all of that stuff.
Well, at least we got you one winner anyway. By the way, we haven't found a pancake wager yet, but I did get image of Rachel to beat Ronnie again yesterday. I just got to jab that in there as we move to the 8th race, which
Still
is
early yet.
5 furlongs over the turf, maiden special weight. These are fillies and of the older variety, and we have a lot of horses coming out of the same race. So to do you, the racing fan, justice, we're going to show you the common race that a lot of these horses are coming out of. No less than 4 horses coming out of this race, including actually, yeah, 4 horses in here. We have the 6 Sweet Summer Sweaters down toward the inside. Dagny's Revenge is in the pink colors on the outside. Lupo's Way's in the blue blinkers behind the speed, getting a perfect run of it. And then a long shot in this race, Jewels of the Nile getting outpaced while racing in the back half of the field. Jewels of the Nile was the one. So we can cue it up from there, guys. Sweet Summer Sweat inside and holding firm. Dagny's Revenge fades actually when hooked by Sweet Summer Sweat. But Lupo's Way gets a perfect trip. The eventual winner of this race is the horse on the far outside, Something Else. Something Else was expected to win that day, and as Lupo's Way is charging hard down the center, Something Else is going to outkick Lupo's Way, and Lupo's Way ran a really good race. I thought that was the best race, but even Sweet Summer Sweat back 4th there. Sweet Summer Sweat has some eligibility to improve.
Lupo's Way will be wearing blinkers this afternoon after that performance. One of the horses I do have on my ticket.
You picked 2 different horses, 4 horses coming in the same
that's
race.
why I was waiting for you to get through all of that, but I didn't pick any of those horses that he just showed you. I went with the 7 Fabulous Devotion, who should be ready to offer more. After returning from about a 5-month layoff, he finished a trouble 4th. He lacked a little bit of room on the turn. It was her local return at this level and distance. Ralph Nix, Luca Panici, named on the beautifully bred daughter of Tappet. This horse is really bred nicely here. And I also used the Sail in here, who's in the Kathleen O'Connor barn. This daughter of Wildcat Air makes a 4-year-old debut on the turf. The first start, she finished 2nd up at Woodbine on the poly track. Her career debut was last April. O'Connell, 15% with her turf sprinters, has this horse working sharply across town at Gulfstream Park West, coming back from an extended layoff of about 16 months. But that's
16-month layoff.
That's my sneaking in that race. That's right. And when I look down, you're not going to believe this. It's the morning line favorite.
Well, that's good for people who are like me that think that there's something to be said for that last race we showed you. We actually should have waited a little bit. Now I can jab you again for pancakes because I have one here. You like Fabulous Devotion.
Yes.
I'll take Lupo's Way. Fabulous Devotion and Lupo's Way have raced against each other twice. Lupo's Way has beat her twice. I'll make it a 3-peat today.
Okay, that sounds like a good wager. At least that's a fair one, not like the other ones that you've been putting together. So
I beat you yesterday with a 26-1 shot. Your horse was 4-1. I don't want to hear it.
well, let me write this down so I remember. Fabulous Devotion over Lupo's Way, and there you see it. It's 5-2, and I guess all the guys upstairs, those pancakes is starting to taste sweeter and sweeter, and it looks like I'm the one that's losing, but that's very, very early in the wager.
Well, you better get the dimes ready. You only knew and I know what you're talking about there. But let's turn to the 9th race. Full disclosure, I'm excited about race number 9. Anybody who watches South Florida racing on a regular basis will know why. My favorite horse in South Florida makes a return to the races. First start since last September. Let's hear about Huasca.
Well, Huasca, let's go back last July, and there's another horse in this race, Dogwood Trail, and this was the Azalea Stakes that Pete that you called, and these two turned it for home. The 6 is Dogwood Trail, the 3 is your favorite horse, Huasca, and they hook up in a really nice duel here.
Well, you're such a jerk. You showed the time the Dogwood Trail beat Huasca. Huasca got the better of Dogwood Trail after that and before that as well.
Well, I wanted to show the Azalea just to show one of these horses that maybe Dogwood Trail can do it again today.
Well, Dogwood Trail will need a form reversal big time, as she's actually not run all that well lately, at least relative to the graded stakes victory she registered last year. Waska hasn't run at all, so there's certainly chinks in both of the armors there.
Yeah, you know, she's making a local return. We're talking about Waska, who 7 starts, 3 wins here with 2 seconds in the third. She finished 5th. That was, as you mentioned, the Dogwood up at Churchill last September. Efren Loza Jr. has her training sharply across town at Gulfstream Park West. Now, Dogwood Trail, I just wanted to show you that performance in the Azalea, just showing you that these horses are all pretty nice and pretty classy horses. But I try and split those two, Waska and Dogwood Trail, with number 2, Mom's Laugh, and I'll tell you why. Back in South Florida, after showing speed and fading late, that was a pair of 40,000 optional claimers up at Pimlico. This is a winner of the $200,000 Sunshine Millions Distaff. You know, she's a horse for course play if there ever was one. 9 starts, 3 wins, 3/3. I think she's the sneaky in the race that maybe can turn the tables on, if not Hosmer, certainly on Dogwood Trail.
Listen, this is a tough race. If I'm Efren Loza Jr., I had to gulp and take a big sip of water when I saw the PPs for this race. There's some real racehorses in here, including Mom's Laugh, including Willow Hills, who tried graded stakes company in the Princess Rooney, ran 3rd last time behind Dogwood Trail. Dogwood Trail, of course, herself is a graded stakes winner. You have winning for Sarah, who's stakes tested. Tough race, and a great race, betting and watching-wise.
And, you know, Dogwood Trail, you're talking about this horse. She finished 2nd behind Kiss to Remember, who was in the stake on Sunday. That was a 62,500 optional claimer going 6.5 furlongs. So this horse is rounding back into shape. She didn't get beat by just anybody last time out. Kiss to Remember is a multiple stakes placed runner. So I just thought this was a great race, but I'm totally agree with you. I'm hoping Waska wins, one of my favorite horses.
Oh, now you're jumping on the bandwagon. Let's see. It's 305 plus, what are you, about 265?
What?
Wait.
No, are you nuts?
Well, in any case, there's about another 500 pounds minimum that Waska is going to have to carry in race number 9.
265.
We'll move down to the 10th race. The 10th race is on the turf at 5 furlongs. Claimers, knob orders are 2, the level here. And we close the show with a scratch of 9. Quick Avalanche. We have a rider change here on number 2, Revolver Sessions, to jockey Edgard Zayas. I love that rider change. Did you like Revolver Sessions at all?
I haven't been second in here. Got the rider change. You mentioned Edgard Zayas, but I did go with the number 4, Poison Art. Moved to the Safi Joseph Jr. Braun after the claim, turning back to 5.5 furlongs. 6 races at that distance, a win, a 2nd and 2/3. Close to finish 3rd against similar opposition, going 7 1/2 furlongs. I just think this horse, the barn change and everything like that, is going to run well in here today.
If Poison Art runs her race 2 back, where she was 2nd and neck behind I Will Be Free, this race will be OVER.
What's that?
That's over.
Over, okay. Number 2, Revolver Sessions. Well, somebody as fat as me, it's hard to remember all that stuff. Revolver Sessions should be primed and ready to score after returning from that freshening to finish 4th. Was the 4 to 5 choice that day. We're beat by a repeat winner that we keep mentioning up here, Pete Love Flute. And next out winner, Perfect Trace, who went up to Laurel in one, I believe. And Wesley Ward, you like the jockey change? Probably the logical choice in there. 2nd choice on the morning line.
Revolver Sessions, the one to catch in race number 10 today, and a viable alternative to the likely heavy favorite.
Yeah, and just another, you know, what I like to call these track announcer favorites, vroom, vroom, vroom in 3rd. They think this makes their careers. Stepping up to face winners after living up to her name when she accelerated away to defeat 12-5 maidens on July 9th. Angel Rodriguez, Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle.
There's one thing about it. We've had some people say that we need to have more controversy on this telecast. Today, there's been nothing but controversy. We're 28 minutes now from the opening contest. We have a sunny sky, but a muddy main track and a good turf course. Rainbow Six opportunity in race number 5. Don't go away. I'll be back up next with a preview of the scratches and changes on today's card.